Seems to be a little bit of drama surrounding The Power of the Dog, a Netflix exclusive movie. I watched the trailer for it just to kind of see what it's all about before I made this video, even though the video is not really about the movie, but I'm going to guess that he hooks up with this other guy in the movie. That would be my guess. It's obviously exploring toxic masculinity and stuff like that, which Benedict Cumberbatch confirms himself in this interview. So what's going on here? What's up with this movie? Now I have the Rotten Tomatoes pulled up just to show reception for it. Of course, critics love it. It did look like something they would love. And the audience score is at 79%. So it does seem like people like it. Like I said, I haven't seen it. It doesn't look like something I would want to watch. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. What I want to talk about is the criticism that Sam Elliott said, and then the response by Benedict Cumberbatch, who directly responds to it. So, Sam Elliott, been in a ton of Westerns. This is the gentleman right here. I'm sure you recognize him. He's been in a lot of movies, has a lot of roles, and he always plays like, he's got like kind of a distinct character that he plays when he's in movies. But he didn't like the movie. He was offended by it, actually. He said on Mark Maron's podcast, WTF, he discussed The Power of the Dog, explained why he didn't like the movie. And he said, I'll tell you why. I didn't like it anyway. I looked at it when I was down there in Texas doing 1883, and what really brought it home to me the other day when I said to you that I want to effing talk about it, there was a effing full-page ad out in the LA Times, and there was a review, not a review, a clip. And it talked about the evisceration of the American myth. And I thought, what the F? What the F does this guy, this is the guy that's done Westerns forever, he elaborated. The evisceration of the American West, they made it look like, what are all those dancers, those guys in New York that wear bow ties and not much else? Remember that from back in the day? And he says, you mean Chippendales? Elliott then says, yeah, that's what all those effing cowboys in the movie look like. They're all running around in chaps and no shirts, and there's all these allusions to homosexuality throughout the effing film. He then goes on to talk about Jane Champion, who he says she likes her work, but she doesn't like this movie. And then he says, why are these guys walking around shirtless in chaps all the time? They never take their chaps off. This isn't a Western and all of this stuff. He slams the movie pretty hardcore. A lot of him dropping F-bombs and all kinds of stuff like this one. I mean, Cumberbatch never got out of his effing chaps. He had 2 pairs of chaps, a woolly pair and a leather pair, he explained. Elliott then added, and every effing time he'd walk in from somewhere, I don't know where in the F, he was never on a horse, maybe once. He'd walk into the effing house, storm up the effing stairs, go lay down in his bed in his chaps, and play his banjo. He concluded, I was like, what the F? What the F? Where's the Western in this? So he was pretty pissed. And then Benedict Cumberbatch goes on to this show, the BAFTA, or the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, and he responds to the criticisms, and he says that we need to teach all of our sons to be feminist. Responding to the question about why it's important to portray The Power of the Dog character, Phil Burbank, in the 21st century, Cumberbatch responded, because there are still many of him in the world. He continued, and I think if we're going to teach our sons to be feminist, if we're going to teach equality, if we're going to understand the positions, the well in men, what creates toxic masculinity, we need to understand and look under the hood of characters like Phil Burbank to see what their struggle is and why that's there in the first place. Otherwise, it will just keep repeating itself. And while we're thankfully moving into a space where survivors are being heard and supported and protected, we've got a way to go on still. And don't get me wrong, what I think we also have to look at the root cause of the behavior that these people have suffered from. He went on. Then he goes on to talk about this guy and stuff, and Donald Trump and Russia, and toxic masculinity in detail and stuff like that. So automatically I'm like turned off to seeing this film because it sounds like, what is it, a lecture? Because, I'm guessing this is why when I saw in the trailer that it was going to examine toxic masculinity through this character, it instantly turned me off to the movie because I'm tired of that. Like, men being aggressive and strong is toxic. Men need to be more like women, and women need to be more like men, which is the modern message that really gets pushed today, by the way. And if you watch a lot of today's entertainment, that's why you see a lot of women. Like, you see this in the Rings of Power. Galadriel becomes a strong, aggressive, angry feminist woman, and Elrond is a beta-looking bitch. So they want to make Elrond feminine and a wuss and sensitive, but they want to make Galadriel angry and aggressive. It's a role reversal. So he gets on here and basically calls Sam Elliott a homophobe and that we need to examine toxic masculinity. He's kind of a toxic man. We need to examine it. That's why we're making this movie. And we need to teach all of our sons to be feminists, which is a lot deeper than just saying men and women should have equal rights, which I don't have any problem with that. But that's not what the message is. Feminism means the destruction of masculinity. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.